When it comes to leveling in hardcore classic WoW, nothing is scarier than suddenly being jump scared by a giant elite coming from nowhere and attacking you, usually resulting in your death. This video is going to be discussing those roaming elites throughout classic Azeroth that are a massive danger to hardcore players, often catching them off guard and killing dozens of players every day. While many of these enemies can be avoided with proper game knowledge and good spatial awareness, not everyone pays full attention for the days of playtime invested into leveling hardcore characters, and not everyone remembers every possible thing about the game at all times. Here is the top 10 deadliest roaming elites in WoW Classic Hardcore. Also, this list will be in no particular order. With that being said, let's move on to the first entry. To start off, there are quite a few dragons found throughout Classic that patrol around zones they majorly outlevel. The first of note is Somnus, found within the Swamp of Sorrows. This is a level 62 elite green dragon that patrols the eastern part of the zone, and is an objective for the Horde Onyxia attunement quest chain. Somnus is no ordinary elite either, as he is more akin to a dungeon boss, with his large health pool and high damage. This enemy is notorious for sneaking up on players in the zone and one-shotting them, since the Swamp of Sorrows is only in the low level 40s range. What is even worse is that since the swamp has so many trees, and it is already very green, and has a lower view distance than other zones, it can actually be quite hard to see this guy coming. Additionally, Somnus does have a 30-yard range sleep he can CC you with to catch up to you, which is pretty much a death sentence if you are unlucky. This enemy single-handedly makes leveling in Swamp of Sorrows super stressful, and is a great example of how useful the Uniscan add-on can be for avoiding elites. Another dragon is the rare spawn Narilla Sands, a level 44 elite red dragon that can be found all around the Alterac Mountains, but mainly along the eastern river that flows into Hillsbrad. This enemy is infamous for his tendency to randomly attack players as they are questing near Hillsbrad, trying to kill some turtles, or against warriors trying to do the Whirlwind Axe quest. Even if you are not lower level though, this dragon still hits extremely hard for his level, and can easily one-shot a squishy character in their 40s with a crit or a crushing blow. And he is quite fast, so regardless of your level, you should always be paying attention in Alterac. Also note that there is no reason to really kill this dragon as well, since he drops only a random green item, and requires a lot of effort with his boss-like stats, so always run away when you can. The last dragon for this list is going to be Teramis the Devourer, a skull-leveled black dragon that roams around the entire Blasted Lands, looking for players to destroy. This enemy is insanely strong, and is essentially a mini world boss, even if he only drops a measly quest item. The amount of suspense this dragon adds to the Blasted Lands is enormous, and requires the player to constantly be on the lookout for him when he inevitably comes your way. Luckily, he is quite slow while patrolling, and is very easy to see since he contrasts the terrain so well. But if you zone out just for a little too long, then it will be rather soon that you find yourself on a dead character screen at the hands of this dragon. Next, let's look at a more humanoid enemy, and that would be Lieutenant Valor Call in the Arathi Highlands. This is a level 38 human that is only hostile to Horde players, that patrols along the main road of the Arathi Highlands, and into Stromgarde while accompanied by his 2 elite bodyguards. This enemy is annoying because he is extremely easy to accidentally run into if you are not paying attention, since he is on the main road. Since most players will probably be making a few trips back and forth between Hammerfall and Stromgarde, the odds of running into this guy at least once is pretty high. If you do accidentally run into him and his guards, since there are 3 enemies, you will usually die quite quickly if you aren't fast to react. And some classes won't even have the ability to save themselves in some scenarios. Additionally, he can easily sneak up on you while questing in Stromgarde, and can cause quite a bit of trouble if your group isn't big enough or isn't prepared. Before we continue the video, I just wanted to thank you for watching so far. If you enjoy my content, feel free to like and subscribe to see more videos in the future. Seeing as an overwhelming majority of my viewers are not subscribed, it would really help me out if y'all hit that subscribe button below. Now, back to the video. Continuing, we have a very infamous enemy, and that is the Devil Swords found in Ungoro Crater. These are level 54 to 55 elites that come in various colors that can be found all across Ungoro Crater along specific paths. These are a pretty high value target, so most of the time the majority of these are dead and skinned for their leather. But on hardcore servers that is a bit less common, so questing in Ungoro can be quite dangerous. These enemies are notorious for ironically sneaking up on questing players despite their massive size, and taking the lives of many players since they do hit quite hard. It is very easy to panic when attacked by these enemies, and that is how I see the most deaths to them. Though it is pretty hard to run away since they are significantly faster than you, and they have a very large attack range. Next is a sort of 2-in-1, and that is the Alliance and Horde elite patrols in the Barrens and Loch Modan respectively, with the Barrens patrol being rare spawns. These are a classic example of a noob killer for many players that are new to a faction, since they are extremely dangerous patrols near the main paths of these zones that are rarely up, but easily catch players off guard when they do appear. Since these enemies patrol the main roads and travel paths of these zones, the most common deaths are to people auto-running into them, more so for the Alliance patrol in the Barrens, since the Barrens are so big and you have to do a lot of walking to get around. Veteran players will usually have no issue avoiding these enemies, but if you are new, these can be extremely dangerous since they are found so early on. Additionally, both of these packs of enemies are almost unsoloable if you are near their respective levels, so if you ever run into these guys, always try to run if you can, but if you run straight into them, odds are you will likely die. Now, a rather iconic elite that is also quite deadly for new players is the notorious Stitches in Duskwood. Every classic player knows how dangerous Stitches can be, as he is a level 35 elite in a zone lower level that walks along the main road through the entirety of the zone straight into the main town of Darkshire, where you still aren't even safe from his wrath. While auto-running into him is a big danger, I'd argue he is even more dangerous when he is in the town, since he can possibly kill all the guards, causing him to aggro to the nearest players in his giant aggro range. Quite often, players will log on and walk out of the inn just to be greeted by Stitches, who will chase them down super quickly and melt their health bar. Always look out for Stitches, and using unit scan or a macro is advised, since sometimes he will see you before you even see him, and at that point, there's sometimes nothing you can do about it. Looking to some higher level zones, Eastern Plaguelands actually has quite a few patrolling elites that make the area even more dangerous than it already is. Two of note are Borrelgore and Duskwing, level 61 and 60 elites that roam the north and south areas of the zone respectively. Both of these elites are super strong and can destroy your health bar even at these higher levels. Duskwing in particular can be really annoying since he patrols somewhat fast, and the hilly and somewhat forested terrain around the zone can make him kind of hard to see coming despite his size. He also is located in a very common questing area for the Plaguelands, so odds are you will see him at least once or twice while questing around here. Borrelgore, on the other hand, is a bit less obnoxious since there are less quests to do in the north, and he is a slower patrol. What is annoying is that he looks the exact same as other grubs in the Eastern Plaguelands, just bigger. So if you are on autopilot, it can be easy to accidentally register him as a normal enemy. Basically, always be super cautious in the Plaguelands, and these elites are just one of the many reasons for that. What is funny is that those aren't even the strongest elite patrols in the Eastern Plaguelands, as that title belongs to the Crimson Courier and their 4 bodyguards that walk along the main road from north to south between Strathholm and Tyr's Hand. This patrol is extremely dangerous even for max level players, and I would advise steering clear of them at all costs unless you are a good split pooler or you play a priest because mind control is OP. The Crimson Courier is both a threat to questing adventurers and max level players alike, since many people take the main road to reach Strathholm to the north. No matter your level, you are never safe in the Plaguelands, essentially, and the roads, even if they are supposed to be safe travel routes, are still very dangerous in these high level zones. And the final enemy for this video is going to be the rare spawn Zeracotl, which is a whopping level 55 elite bird that patrols around the open areas of the Badlands. Zeracotl is a way higher level than the zone he is in, which makes him really scary since he can easily one-shot you with a crushing blow. This bird makes the Badlands way more stressful than it needs to be, and since he can be almost anywhere in the zone, you always have to be wary of him. What is also really annoying is that some areas of the Badlands, despite their openness, have a pretty high mob density, so as you run away, you will just pull more and more enemies. And that concludes the video on the 10 deadliest roaming elites in WoW Classic Hardcore. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos from me in the future. If there are any enemies you think belonged on the list, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I'm out.